Hello, leaders. Hey, this is Paul Grau, and welcome to Run to Your Leadership Challenges, the daily show that equips leaders and entrepreneurs to achieve their greatest potential. This show is sponsored by Current Leadership Coaching, and they help entrepreneurs excel as leaders so they can create super teams. Find out more about them at currentleadershipcoaching.com. Hey, I hope you're doing great today. And all this week, we're talking about different leadership challenges that some of the guys in my mastermind have experienced. And I think this is going to be very valuable for you all out there. So today, I want to welcome Mark Robinson to the show. Mark has been fortunate enough to work in large corporations and as an entrepreneur, which is his current position. Today, we're going to discuss the similarities and the similar challenges between being a leader in a corporation and as an entrepreneur. And I'll tell you, Mark is a member of one of my mastermind groups that I'm in, and from knowing Mark for almost 3 years now, I can tell you that he is simply brilliant. So I know you're going to get a lot out of today's show. So welcome, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing great, and it's great to be hanging out with you here in Colorado this week.
Yeah, so, we were just talking about running up and down the stairs and losing our breath at 9,500 feet or whatever. And that's definitely been a challenge. But, it's interesting with you because you were talking about how you were in the corporate world, mm-hmm. and now you're an entrepreneur, but you've seen a lot of the similar challenges. So tell us more about that.
I think one of the things to really ponder is how the line between an entrepreneur has really blurred over the last 25 years or so.
Oh, yeah.
It used to be the entrepreneur was someone who was wild and crazy and went out there and started a business while everyone else worked inside of a corporation. But now we have people who are entrepreneurs inside of a company, and they're responsible for bringing new products to market and creating growth. And really, that is the business that we're all in. We're in the growth business.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we create results. That's what we get paid for.
Yeah. So, it's interesting that you say that there's entrepreneurs and intrapreneurs because a lot of employees and team members now in corporate situations are basically, they're really wanting to have their team members to have the entrepreneur mindset.
Right.
And, when you were talking about marketing and the entrepreneur and the corporate leader and all this being blurred, it makes me think of a book that I recently read, or I'm reading that right now, actually. It's called They Ask and You Answer. And it talks about how a salesman or the salesperson and the marketing person, those positions are really becoming blurred. And it actually talks about how customers and clients, they know if they're going to buy from a person before they even show up at that person's business or the company.
It's pretty wild. One thing to think about, it's like you say, okay, we've got these entrepreneurs. What do they need? Or the people who are supposed to be entrepreneurs inside of the corporation, what do they need? They need to be focused on results.
Yes.
And one thing to think about, I think one of the big challenges is you create these products inside of a safe space in the company, and then you want to bring those products to market. And one big challenge is delivering the product in the way the customer wants to receive it, in a language that they understand, and in a way when that thought comes across, it sounds like it's a thought from their own mind.
Yeah.
And an example I give of this is you take the power grid. You have hydroelectric plants that, when we need extra power on our nation's grid, they just turn on the turbines and they start to have water come through them and electricity is created. But they have to wait till the waveforms from these turbines exactly match the power grid. Otherwise, it'll freeze up the turbines and ruin them.
Wow. So it's not just flipping a switch, huh?
It's not just flipping a switch, and we need to make sure the messages we're delivering and the products we're delivering are matched to the frequency of the people who want to buy them.
Wow. Yeah, that hits close to home because Jen and I have all kinds of ideas for products and stuff like that. And that's part of the reason why we created our new training site, our training membership site, because we want to meet them exactly where they're at. And we want to, a lot of times with leadership, it's going back to the basics. So I understand what you're saying and how that the entrepreneur side of the house, the entrepreneur leader needs to see where the customer is. But are you also saying that the leaders inside corporations need to know their end client customer as well? And
absolutely, I'm saying that we're seeing a blurring of the line, so that whether we're working inside of a giant corporation, a small business, or it's a person's taking things into their own hands and being an entrepreneur, we're all responsible for understanding the customer and making sure that what we're delivering literally meets the customer's innermost desire and need and makes them successful, because we are not here for ourselves. We're here to create results for our customers.
Absolutely. And how long does it take to create those results sometimes?
Paul, you can create those results very quickly. I think about an example, just something we did a couple of weeks back, right?
Oh, yeah.
When we were on a call together, we were on a mastermind call together, and you said, you were giving some examples of actually, like, what's the single most important interview question? And I said to you, Paul, this is perfect marketing material, and this is just what the listeners that are listening to this show right now need. And, I turned that around. You did a video. I turned that around as a lead magnet, and now it's available. What is the website they go to get that?
So we're offering that at Current Leadership Coaching here. We're offering as the #1 hiring question, and that is an example of Mark's work, because like he said, we were on our weekly mastermind call, and I said a few things, and Mark instantly picked up on that and said, man, that's a product that you can provide your customers, and your listeners. And we had a follow-up phone call, or I sent you that video, and within 20 minutes after I sent that, or after we got off the call, I had a product from Mark that all I had to do was make a few tweaks and then get it professionally done up in a nice PDF, file. But I couldn't believe how fast you turned that around. And I guess that's the key.
It's speed of implementation. I think if you're listening to this show today and you want to know, what's the #1 takeaway, it's speed of implementation. The faster you implement the ideas you hear about, the more they will become naturally part of you and create results.
Yeah. So how can you help any of our listeners out there today?
So I can help really in getting results. So if you're struggling getting results, you want to have that match between the product you're developing and the messaging that's going to be received, or you're struggling with scaling the business, they can just reach out to me. Just text me on my phone. I'm at area code 423-903-9432.
Okay.
That's 423-903-9432. Shoot me a text, and we can chat.
All right. Well, there you go. And I'm telling you, Mark is the real deal, and he is such a good listener, and then he'll just come up with these ideas, and it's like, where did that come from? So it's a pleasure knowing Mark. And Mark, thank you for joining us on this show today.
Thank you for listening.
Sure. And like Mark mentioned, that you can get that #1 hiring question. If you're interested in getting this free guide and video that comes along with it, please visit currentleadershipcoaching.com/hiring question. And you can also find a direct link for that in today's show notes. And I'll put Mark's number in there too. So as always, we greatly appreciate you for listening, and we hope you have a great rest of your day. Until tomorrow, run to your challenges.